I'm back out with the camera this morning and I'm parked on the edge of some woodland. It's my yearly hunt to see if I can find some of those magnificent bluebells as they come into bloom. However, I'm not too sure if I've travelled out a little bit too early this year. Only time will tell. Let's go for a walk and see if we can shoot some of those magnificent scenes. Not a bad start, I don't think, to find my first composition in and around this magnificent setting that we've been presented with this morning. And when I come out to this location, this is probably always the first one I try and find, the first one that I try and come across and capture it. Captured it really well a couple of years ago. Came back here last year to try and get a repeat, see if I could do better. Didn't work out quite so well on that occasion. This time around though, I've got the added advantage of my 15 to 30 millimeter on the front of my camera. It means I can go that little bit wider than what I've ever previously been able to do before. The light's still not great, it's only 6 o'clock in the morning. We've got a little bit of fog, we've got a little bit of mist, hopefully creating a bit of a mystical effect. Creating a real ethereal, fairy tale type scene, really increasing how magical this setting is this morning. But also means that to start with today, I've got to rely on the tripod. Of course, we're shooting at low ISO of 100, which means that my shutter is 2.5 seconds. Not ideal for shooting handheld, but hopefully as the light increases, stuck it in the branches here, but as the light increases, should hopefully be able to go a little bit more handheld, have a little bit more freedom over the shots in question. We've got this lovely path leading us into the trees just dotted around nicely, not overlapping too much. We've got the look of the bluebells disappearing off into the distance. Perfect way to start off this particular shoot. Now, of course, when you're shooting bluebells, don't feel as though you've got to be restricted to the one focal length. Just like anything with photography, it's all about experimentation at times. A minute ago, I was shooting with the 15 to 30 millimeter. Now I've got my trusty 24 to 105 on, the one I'll probably use most. At the same time, there'll be times when I'll even put the telephoto on. I'll put the 100 to 400 millimeter on, just see what I can capture, see what works really. Sometimes it's just a case of zooming in on the bluebells. I find with the tighter focal length that you get, sometimes the more special the bluebells can look, especially if you want to go for that look where the bluebells disappearing into infinity, still waiting for the light to just appear just perfectly for me. Of course, I'm in the woodland, so I'm not going to get massively high shutter speeds, especially with it still being a little bit foggy as well. The trouble is I'm shooting at low shutter speed still, even on the tripod. We've got a little bit of wind. So you see these lovely green canopies with the leaves that I love shooting. The trouble is, with the little bit of wind, they're just moving. So even shooting at around 1 second, 2 seconds, I'm probably going to notice that in post. one little bugbear at the moment, I won't lie. One aspect I really cannot avoid bringing up is the colour. Really do love the colour as a whole this time of the year when you come out to the woodland. Of course, you've got the added advantage of the bluebells, but not to mention you've got those lovely green canopy leaves that just hang over the bluebells perfectly, almost like some beautiful umbrella protecting it from the elements, as crazy as that sounds, given what leaves do. And of course, whilst today it's a really foggy morning, there's not too much sunlight coming through. Reminds me of when I came out here last year. Got some sunlight flooding through the trees. Got some lovely bit of light hitting the subjects, hitting the bluebells. So light can come into effect as well. You get ferns dotted in and amongst the blue. It is just a perfect time of the year to come out and explore with the camera. It really is. One aspect, one topic that I wanted to talk about in today's video was previous mistakes that I've made when coming out and shooting these magnificent woodland scenes. I mean, when I started doing landscape photography in 2021, I never even knew that these scenes even existed in the first place. It's amazing how the world can open up to you so elegantly like this. But when I first started seeing these scenes on social media, I thought to myself, I've got to get out, I've got to capture them. I love the look of the bluebells as they disappear off into infinite distance, like I always. It's the one phrase I like to use when describing bluebells, the way they disappear into infinity if you can get the shot right. However, I remember the first time I went out and tried to shoot bluebells, I made the mistake of trying to think that I had to get everything into focus. You know, it's one of those occasions where you think, I've got to get everything nice and tacked sharp. Of course, quite ironic because you know how much I love ending up with painterly effect images where you question, is it a photo, is it a painting? But back in the early days, I think around 2022, I went out, everything had to be tacked sharp, focus stacking. The first bluebell up close to the camera was the furthest one, and of course focus stack them both together, and focus stack all the images together. And the results that I got, wasn't happy with. I thought these are rubbish compared to what everyone else can achieve. So when I came out the following year, I kind of thought, okay, instead of focusing on the bluebells as a whole, focus on everything else, worry about everything else. The bluebells, it's not the bluebells that I'm overly interested in, if that's a strange way of saying it. It's the colour that I'm interested in. It's the blue, it's the sea of blue. It disappears over the green. It's the canopies, the green canopies I want to get into sharpness. The trees themselves, all of that I want to get in focus. The blue, kind of the blue magenta of the bluebells, that isn't the important factor for me. You might be different, you might be thinking of it in a different way, and of course it's what suits everyone. But it's just one previous experience that I like to fall back on and talk about on occasion. I think this is where I'm going to bring this video to a close. I've had a beautiful morning out with the camera, shooting these bluebells, shooting these majestic, these magnificent scenes. One of my favourite times of the year for obvious reasons, it really is. And it's not going to be the last time I shoot the bluebells either this season. I think now it's time for me to head home, see how the results have turned out on Lightroom and put my feet up. But until next week, you take care. Goodbye.